How you doing? Mike Arnone from Canon. I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out. And this is David Carcano. We're just going to spend a little time going over Canon imageCLASS, the printing, and also how the security features and how it can actually save you money in the long term.
So if you don't know Canon as a brand, we're a worldwide company. We're a global company. We did about $36 billion in net revenue over the last couple years. And these are where we play as far as major markets go. And as you can see, Canon Americas, who we represent, is a large part of our global business. And so we have a lot of investment in the USA. And I think some of the things that we talk about as far as our service and some of those other things will really show to that effect. One of the things that we're really proud of at Canon is we're an imaging company, right? All of our products are typically based around imaging, so whether that be cameras, scanners, wide format printers, laser printers, inkjet printers, big copiers. We spend a lot, we use a lot of our revenue to reinvest into our technologies, and this is evident of that. So if you look at the patent leaders who filed patents in the US over the last 5 or 10 years, Canon has consistently been a number 3 or number 4, filing somewhere to about 3,000 to 5,000 patents a year. And so we're really heavily invested in growing our technologies. We're the number 1 Japanese company for 13 consecutive years in a row. We're in the top 5 of patent holders consecutively, and we roughly invest about 8% of our net revenue back into the company around software solutions and imaging technologies.
And we're just going to take a couple minutes just to go over some basic product stuff about the imageCLASS. I know you're probably all familiar, obviously, already with Canon, but in regards, besides the inkjet product line that you see at all the stores, we have a very robust and strong business line of desktop printers that I think it's important for you to see about. If you take a look, this is just a quick slide about who we are. Like I said, we're the imageCLASS. We make laser desktop printers that can go anywhere from $100, the base models, up to $2,000, $3,000 if you get it fully loaded with stacks, trays, roll carts.
So this just graphically shows you kind of what the print volumes are that we expect for our machines to kind of be able to support. And so obviously on our lower machines that are typically in that $100, $200 range, you're usually printing a couple hundred print pages a month, right, at maximum. And as the products kind of go up, we can support anywhere in this class of products from about 1,000 pages a month to about 6,000 pages a month. So as you can see, depending on if you're a small business or you're an education customer, we have a product that can really fit into each one of those niches. And one of the great things about Canon as well, like you said, we're an imaging company. We're the only manufacturer from a printer standpoint that can take you anywhere from 1 pages a minute all the way to something that would take up the size of an entire building where they would print books. Like Amazon fulfillment or something like that, and other manufacturers don't typically have a product that can fit every set of that category. So this is just one of those that shows to the strength of our products.
If you take a look at this, we were talking before about reliability and standards. We have 2 machines that this past winter, and they're both, I think we actually have them both downstairs. Please come by, take a look. They're both awarded by the Buyers Lab as their picks for outstanding machines, color multifunctions.
Yeah, so what this slide is just basically showing you is one of the great things about Canon is that I said that we invest a lot of money in our technologies and our patents, right? And so this is an example of some of the technologies we have. Canon is really known for their single cartridge system. A lot of manufacturers do something where they have the cartridge and they have a drum as a separate component. Right? And you have to have both of them. They're both consumables. So that way, when you buy your consumables, ours is all packaged into one, whereas with some other manufacturers, you have to buy both, right? And so what that does for us, one, it lowers your total cost of ownership because you're not buying 2 pieces of equipment, you're just buying one. And then also within the single cartridge system, we have something called first quick print out time. So in the industry, a lot of people, when they print, they're printing 1 to 3 pages, typically on an everyday basis, right? Whether that be PDFs, Word documents, Excel documents, they're typically within that range. So for most customers, what's really important is how quickly those first 3 pages come out. Maybe I may print 50 pages every once in a while, and that's important to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should go out and buy a $1,000 50-page per minute printer, right? If you're only doing that every once in a while. If you can get your normal print jobs out in the fast amount of time, that's really kind of what's important. So what's important to us is just kind of identifying what your workflow processes are, what you're printing, what are those file sizes are. We like to have those conversations with you, and that way we can lead you to the appropriate machine, and you're not buying something that's too much for you, right? One of the other technologies that we like to point out, especially since security is such a big topic these days, is our system administrator and what we call account codes. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to create 4 or 5-digit account codes that you can assign to different users. And from there, based on that account code, you can restrict access to different parts of the machine, right? So if you want them to be able to scan, but not be able to fax and also be able to print, you can choose those options. If you want them to be able to print in color, or maybe black and white only and not in color, you can restrict those by the user. And you can also prompt it so that way when they're at the computer, they have to enter those numbers as well, right? And so it can be automatically programmed in a print driver for that user, so that when they go to file print, it automatically goes through. Or you can customize it for a pop-up, and that way, if you have multiple users going in a single workstation or using a single workstation, from there you can enter them, and it'll allow them to access the features of the machine that are appropriate to that user. And some of the other things, right, like AirPrint, I think 4 or 5 years ago, when mobility was starting to be a big thing, we just made sure that our products work seamlessly within those environments. So if you have Apple products, we work seamlessly within iOS and with AirPrint. And then obviously for Android products, Google Cloud Print and those things as well. We have all those connectors. Yeah. So here's a couple things that we want to talk about as far as the total value proposition for imageCLASS, right? When we talk about efficiency at the machine itself, our machines are rated some of the best out of the box, right? When you get the machine out of the box, they're very, very simple to use. We now have 7-inch touchscreen displays, which are swipeable, right? And so that makes it very easy to use. We put the most used functional buttons up at the front, so copy, scan, print, fax. And the great thing about them with our application library, which Mike will talk about a little bit later, is we can also now customize buttons with specific icons or pictures, specific workflows in a sense where if you have a document that needs to go to multiple places, either multiple email addresses or maybe emailed and faxed at the same time, we can program those buttons so that way you're not clicking 20 different times. If it's a process that you repeat fairly frequently, you can hit one button and then you're off to doing whatever you need to. So that's pretty unique to our product. From a security standpoint, like we said, we have different ways to lock down the machines to prevent access. One of the interesting things about our machines, because at their cost levels, they don't have hard drives in them. They all use flash memory. So a lot of times the concern is, okay, well, if I'm scanning my documents into your multifunction printer or stuff's printing out, how much of you're keeping of that? If you have any type of security concerns or parameters where you need to erase that data, it's not an issue for our products because anytime you turn the machine on and off, it clears that flash memory, and then flash memory also doesn't hold that data as well. So there's nothing that you have to physically take out of the machine to destruct it if you're done with a lease or you're sending it on to another company or maybe you're giving it away to another a company as well. And then from a cost management standpoint, typically, customers typically have a relationship with maybe an office supplier, so a lot of times they go to there. We'd recommend that you bring that business to SpaceBound. And the reason for that is because we have a whole host of product support as well as logistics around how we can make that delivery of consumables more efficient, right? So SpaceBound buys from one of our distributors, and these distributors are really, really good at doing things like customizing packaging labels with specific department names, right? So that way the toner can go to the specific person it needs to, and also track that. We can also add a service component to managing these devices. And so if you want SpaceBound to provide service or provide some type of help desk service, it's something that they can help you with, and we support them in that regard as well. And then most importantly, from a consumable standpoint, those efficiencies are great, but it also comes down to price, right? At the end of the day, we need to be able to afford the cartridges, and through SpaceBound, we can provide what's called a printonomics discount. And so as long as we can ship the cartridge directly to you, we can give you somewhere anywhere between a 20 and 40% discount on the consumables. And that's out without signing any type of contract or anything like that. We just want to make sure that we can ship the product directly to you. All right? So that's one of the great ways that we can save you money. And then ultimately, what we'd like to do too is we'd like to use intelligent software to come out, understand your workflows, but also understand what's really going on in your print environment, right? How many pages are you really printing? Are you overutilizing this machine versus this machine? Should you be maybe printing to this machine because it's more cost effective versus this machine? And that's something that both Mike and the SpaceBound team can come out do an evaluation. It doesn't cost you anything. Grab a little bit of data so we really know what's going on. And if you're willing to share your cost information with the team, that helps us to put together a total solution where we can save you money and really come back to you with some type of dollar and cents information that makes sense for you.
Like David just mentioned, on the device and fleet management, I think that's important, that really get a good idea of what machines are being used for what, right? Because once you may have, like he said, you may have a machine that's overused. It's printing 10,000 pages a month, and then there's one on the other side of the floor, in the other office that's only doing 500 pages. You don't need both, minimize them, the machine costs, and then like, with the fleet management, we have softwares, the Printonomics software that can go out and read all the devices, see what's printing where and how much. Quality, reliability, it's Canon. Everyone knows Canon. If you watch any major event, Super Bowl, World Series, all you see is Canon cameras. That's the same technology in those cameras that are in our printers. So that's one really great thing that we do as a company, is that we share technologies across the platforms.
And just real quick, while we're going to the next one here, sustainability is really important to us. Because we're a Japanese company-owned company, green initiatives are really important. So we do provide shipping labels for customers who buy our toner products that they can ship back to Canon. We melt those products down all the way down to about 99% of its original components. And so we never take a cartridge and just go refill it back with toner. We melt the entire thing down, and those raw materials are then used to go back and produce products. And then from a power usage standpoint, that's another thing that imageCLASS is really how we stand out against our competitors. If you look at us versus Xerox, HP, our power consumption, because of that single cartridge system, is much less over time than some of our other manufacturers. So I'll just speak to this. This is, again, a mobility slide. So once again, we work seamlessly with all the different wireless or mobility environments: AirPrint, Google Cloud Print, Mopria, if you use Mopria. And then we also have a specific app both for Android and for iOS that you can download to print pictures, documents, all of that from your mobile devices if you're not using AirPrint or something that's already connected.
And the most important thing I think on this slide is they're all free. They're all free downloads, so you can use them and start printing. Application library, David touched on this earlier. It's a feature in several of our machines, all the models there. Most of them are color, and we also have some new single function. We enter the codes and program it in the device. So like you said, if you're printing the same form over and over, and you need to email it to you and you and you can hit one button and it automatically does it. And it can store, I'm not sure exactly, like 30 or something different options where you can do it. So if you're printing the same forms over and over for HR forms or payroll forms, you just hit the one button and it automatically does it.
Yeah. So the great example of that, right, would be is if you're in a library and you want to have somebody to sign up for a membership, instead of printing all those out, you want to do it on an on-demand basis. You could have that programmed into that file in the machine, and whenever you're ready for it, you could just go hit the button, it would print out, and then you would print it kind of on an on-demand basis.
So you can see, you can get it set up for, it's a retail one, for order forms, medical, for ID stuff. It's all kinds of different stuff. This is a really important slide. I feel this is a very important slide. All of our machines come with at least a 1-year warranty. Some of the color ones, the one we have downstairs at the table, comes actually with a 3-year warranty, parts and labor for 3 years. All our customer service is 100% based in the U.S., down in Virginia and in New Mexico. So whenever you call, it's regular, U.S. business hours. You always get through right away. And most importantly, I think we were trying to figure this out. I think 3% of the actual calls are related to the machines, and we only have a 1% failure rate out of the box.
Right.
So out of 100 machines, knock on wood, y'all buy 100 machines, 99 of them should be fine. You might get one that doesn't work, and they'll probably be able to fix it on the phone right away.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great thing about, like he said, is that if you look at any of our other manufacturers, right, any of them, just pick one, and you call their customer service, I can almost 100% guarantee you that you're not calling somebody in the U.S., and we're really, really proud of that fact. That both in Albuquerque and Virginia, our guys are trying to really kind of take care of our customers. And as far as like the warranty goes, we have a couple different kinds of warranties. Some are overnight exchange, some are on-site, or some are in-shop, right? So depending on the size of the machine, if it's 100 pounds or so, we don't want that strapped into your back and come into to SpaceBound's door, right? We'll send somebody to come out and take a look at that for you, and we typically send somebody within the next day. We also have an exchange program as a part of our warranties. So like the guys the machines that we're showing, if you have a problem with it, you call Canon's 1-800 support number. They'll facilitate an exchange, which is next business day, which means we send you a machine, you put the old one back in the box, we pay for shipping, and you have FedEx come pick it up, and you're done. Our warranties and just making sure that you're not taking the brunt of the liability as far as a machine messing up and not functioning correctly. We take that liability and we back it up, and I think this is evidence of that. All right.
Thanks. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
What about scanning?
Yeah.
The printer scan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All of our multi-function printers scan. They have an auto document feeder on the top. And so some of them also do dual scan. So if you have a duplex document front and back, it'll do a single pass and scan both sides and then send it to a JPEG or a PDF file.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.